authenticity isn't free. In fact, there's going to be a period of time where you're going to feel like you're paying for it with comfort, with momentum, with approval. Today, I will explain to you why this is not a problem, but actually the whole freaking point. When people talk about authenticity, it is often framed as the outcome: more freedom, more ease, more alignment, more momentum. But what's missing from the conversation is the process. There's a real in-between phase where you're no longer willing to be someone that you're not, but you're still learning how to fully be yourself and who you are. And that is the phase that feels expensive. And that cost shows up differently on a personal level and a business level. So let's dive into both sides of this and talk a bit more about it. Let's start with the personal level. Authenticity often costs you comfort first. When you start to be aware that you don't want to be someone you're not, you want to be someone who doesn't ignore the things that doesn't feel right. And you can't see it anymore. When you're there, it's really hard to unsee the things that don't feel right anymore. You notice misaligned relationships or unspoken resentment, patterns that used to feel normal, but no longer really fit you. And that awareness can be very uncomfortable. Authenticity often also costs you approval because some people are not going to like this new you that speaks up for yourself and for your true self, the one that sets boundaries and maybe even change their mind. That new you that is really you. You might even feel like you're outgrowing friendships and disappoint people who liked the old version of you better, or the version where you kept compromising with yourself and weren't the authentic you. So even when it's necessary to live your authentic life on a personal level, it will hurt. It is a cost of being authentic. Another cost is a cost of certainty. When you start living by your own boundaries and your own rules, there's going to be some certainties that are no longer there. That means that you need to decide what matters to you, and you also need to 100% take responsibility for your actions. And let me tell you, that can be hard. And I'm not saying it's wrong, because it's definitely not, but sometimes we're just used to maybe pushing over responsibilities even of our own actions to other people. And that is something you don't do when you are authentic with yourself. You're actually stepping up and taking that responsibility for yourself and your actions. And that can feel very, very scary. Believe me. No, it's a process that I'm in right now that I've also talked about in previous videos about going from the authentic me now and the authentic me I want to be, and kind of falling in line with that. Another cost that's related to this, which is a really interesting psychological cost, is that you might actually grieve the old you. There might actually be some things that you're going to miss about the old you, the ease of whatever it was that was. But I promise you, in the long run, this will be better. The point also being that the old you probably felt safe. So it feels safer to stay where you are than moving towards that newer but authentic you. And it's not always loud and noisy to create these changes for yourself. Sometimes it's just you making those decisions in silence and changing it. And that can be super hard. So here it's also important to find a system that works for you and that supports you and that cheers for you along the way. Now let's talk about the business part, especially as solopreneurs, small entrepreneurs, because here the personal and the business, the authentic you kind of blends together. And being authentic in your business as a business owner can definitely also cost you. The first cost is often speed. So when you stop copying everyone else and start listening to yourself and what feels authentic for you to do, that matters. But the cost is still speed, because it might take longer to do what's right for you than to just reach whatever goal it is that society or even yourself has set for you, but that doesn't really align with your authenticity and your values. So when you stop chasing all of these formulas, your growth just can feel a lot slower. But the thing is, you're going to be building something intentionally and not something for the algorithm. And in a way that can feel super risky. This channel, I'm trying to create a mix of both, right? I want it to be super authentic, but to be honest, I'm also looking a little bit on the algorithm part of it. But again, this is where I'm in the process of being more me, being more authentic. So creating the videos that feel more right to me. And this one really was important for me to also understand that journey for myself. So another thing when we're talking about business is that authenticity can also cost you reach. Because when you talk with your true voice and who you really are, you are going to be talking to the right people. But that might mean that it's fewer people that will relate to what you put out there, your message, your service, your programs. But the point is that it's going to be the right people, the people who actually resonate with you. And they're a lot more fun to work with, because the point is that your authentic self will definitely also repel some people and say, this is not for me at all, but that's okay. That is actually freaking amazing, right? So your audience might be smaller, but at least it's aligned with you and who you really are and the business you want to run. And still in the beginning, that can feel like quite a loss, right? And a cost, because you're reaching probably fewer people. But again, you would rather have more of the right people than more people in general. Being authentic to yourself and your business might also mean saying no to specific clients that you don't feel really aligns with you. So it might actually also be a financial cost, because being authentic also means saying no to collaborating with people, having clients, having partners who do not align with your authentic self. And that is not easy, especially not when money might be tight, you're in a starting phase. So it's all a balance to figure out. And then a very important part, especially with all of the online social media today, the way that we run businesses today, a lot of us, is there's an emotional cost of being authentic, because when you align so much personally and your business is so personally aligned with who you are, then when people criticize, it feels harsher. So it might not even be you specifically they criticize, but maybe they criticize a product you've made or something that you have done. And that can be hard. So there's definitely something here to be aware of when you walk into your authenticity, that your values are valid and other people's opinion of that is not important to you. And the point is that to be able to do that, it requires a certain level of maturity as well. You can't hide behind your brand, your mask in this. You are front and center when you're a small business, and you choose to be a face of a brand and being authentic in that. Okay, so here's the reframe that changes it all, that helps you, because really you're not losing. All of these negative things, all of these changes happening, this is you investing in the future you, in the more aligned brand, in the more aligned you. On a personal level, you are investing in clarity. When you're authentic, decisions become simpler. Not always easier, but at least they become more clear, and it's just easier to make the choice, but what you need to do is not necessarily easier. You're basically investing in self-trust, and that you know that you can listen to yourself and act accordingly after your own choices and values. You're investing in deeper relationships with people, whether it's personal or business. It might be fewer relationships, but at least they're more real as well. On the business side, you are investing in sustainability. You're investing in, again, building relationships and building something that you can actually maintain long term as well, because you still feel aligned with it, with who you are. You're investing in the trust with your clients, with your collaborators, and also with yourself. And you're also investing in energy, because pretending, performing, and constantly second guessing yourself is one of the absolute fastest ways to burn out. I want to give you a quick example of this from me personally. I was on a coaching call with my coach yesterday, and it was a group coaching call, and we were talking about how we sign off in our messages. So when we reach out to people, what do we do when we say best, kindly, whatever it is? And on LinkedIn, I usually just say kindly. And my coach was like, Deanna, that is really boring. And that's like so far from what I associate with you that it's really not authentic. And it got me thinking, and I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I was doing it because it's professional, and I am professional, but I also feel like it's okay. And I value having fun, and also that business doesn't have to be all boring and strict. I want to have fun in my business. I want to enjoy the ride, say. So my sign off, I'm not going to curse in my sign off, but it would be more of my energy would be with absolutely fucking excitement, Deanna, instead of just kindly, because I do want to spread that excitement, and I do want to kind of create that for my clients and all of the people around me if I can. So that was a step on my authenticity journey, and the alignment of like the words we use, what we say, what we write is also part of this, right? And how people perceive us. And that was like super interesting to hear. And I'm very happy that they didn't perceive me that way, that there was a more, in my opinion, positive perception of who I am and my energy. The important thing here is that authenticity is something that compounds over time. So it might feel hard right now, but I promise you there's going to be return on the investment in the long run. It's like building relationships. You're not often, at least, best friends after the first time you had a coffee or beer together. In the beginning, it often just takes more time, a little bit more effort. There's a slower growth to it, and often fewer external rewards, which is also what makes a lot of people quit. Not because it actually doesn't work, but because they assume that it's not working yet, and they confuse the investment phase with failure. If being authentic feels expensive right now, personally or in your business, you're not doing it wrong. You are right where you need to be, and you just need to take conscious steps in the right direction and be clear on your values and what is the authentic you right now and what is the authentic you want to reach, both in your personal life and in your business. And you're in the process of building something that actually lasts. I would love to hear in the comments if this resonates with you in any way. And if you are on a journey yourself of building an authentic you in your business, an authentic business, then subscribe, follow along on my journey and this journey of the YouTube channel of following you and helping you along the way, as well as helping myself. Have a super amazing day.